we can submit alerts on.
Okay, so translating from words into algebra is what we're going to do right now. All right, so use x, let's use x as the variable. So it says 16 more than a number. So we would do 16 plus x for that. And then number 2 says a number subtracted from -7. So that would be, that's a number subtracted from -7. So that would be x minus -7. Wait, no, negative, sorry, I said that backwards. -7 minus x, yeah, a number subtracted from -7, there we go. Okay. And then a number times 10, so we could say x times 10, but we would probably simplify that to be 10x. Okay. All right. 5 times a number plus 5. So that would be 5x plus 5. And then triple a number subtracted from the number. So that would be x minus 3x. And yeah, we can simplify that, but since we're just translating, I'll just leave it that way for now. So that's triple a number subtracted from the number. Oops. All right. Translate each sentence into an equation and solve it. Check your solution by going back to the words in the original problem. All right. So the sum of 8, so that's like 8 plus. So the sum of 8 and 5 times a number, that would be 5x, equals 53. So that is the equation. And then let's solve that. So to do that, we need to subtract 8 from both sides. So 5x equals, that would be 45. And then divide both sides by 5. So that gives you x equals 9. All right. So the sum of 8 and 5 times 9 is 53. So 8 plus 5 times 9, that'd be 8 plus 45. So that's 53. Okay. Number 7, if a number is subtracted from 3 times the number, the result is -8. What is the number? So, okay. So a number is subtracted from, okay, so that's going to be something minus x. So the number is subtracted from 3 times the number. So it's subtracted from 3x. So 3x minus x. And then it says the result is -8. So that equals -8. So that is the equation. And then we would solve that. All right, so 3x minus x. So there's an invisible 1 in front of that x. So 3x minus 1x would equal 2x. So you have 2x equals -8, and then divide both sides by 2. So x equals -4. All right. Number 8. So when twice a number is decreased by 8, the result is the number increased by 7. Okay, so twice a number, so that's 2x, is increased or is decreased by 8. So that would be -8. The result is, so that's equals the number increased by 7. So the number, that's x, and then increased by 7, that would be +7. So 2x minus 8 equals x plus 7. So that's our equation. So then in order to solve that, I would subtract x from both sides. So x is the same as 1x. I'm subtracting 1x. So that would just be 2 minus 1 is 1. So that would be 1x again, or just x. So I have x minus 8 equals 7. And then I would just need to add 8 to both sides. So that gives me x equals 15. All right. So number 9 says, Mr. Chi deposited $80 into his checking account. Then after writing a $23 check for gas and a $90 check for his child's daycare, the balance in his account was $67. How much was in the account before he made the deposit? Okay. Talking about checks. Y'all know what checks are. Barely. I was just saying I have still have the same box of checks that I bought before I ever moved into my house, which was 6 years ago. They still have my old address on them. Actually, I thought I ran out, and then I was like, I really don't need to buy more of these because I mean I can just send people like Venmo or anything like that, you know. So, but I was like, oh look, I still have more. It'll last me like another 6 years at least. All right. Let's see. Okay, so the thing we're trying to find out is the amount he started with. So that would be, we can just call that X. So he started out with an unknown amount, and then he added 80. And then he took out 23, and then he took out 90. And then he ended up with 67. Okay, so that's our equation. X plus 80 minus 23 minus 90 equals 67. All right, let's see. So let's combine the like terms here. So let's see, 80 minus 90, that's easy. I'd think about that first. That'd be just -10. And then -10 minus 23 would be -33. So that would be X minus 33 equals 67. And then I'll just add 33 to both sides. makes the X equal to 100. Okay, so before he did all that stuff, he had $100. Number 10 said the Greens had a 20-pound of birdseed in their garage. Mice got into the bag and ate some of it. The Greens then bought an 8-pound bag of seed and put all the seed in a metal container. Now they have 24 pounds of seed. How much did the mice eat? Okay. All right. Let's see. All right, so they had basically started out with 20 pounds. And then the mice ate some of it, and that's what we're trying to find out. So then the mice took away X, an unknown amount. And then they added 8 pounds to that. And then they ended up with a total of 24 pounds. So X represents the amount eaten by the mice. So 20 minus X plus 8 equals 24. That's our equation. And then we can solve it. So 20 plus 8, that would be 28. So we could say 28 minus X equals 24. And then we could subtract 28 from both sides. So that would be negative X equals negative 4. So negative X is the same thing as negative 1X. So you have negative 1X equals negative 4. So you need to divide both sides by negative 1 to get X equals 4. So the mice ate 4 pounds of birdseed. That seems like a lot. Maybe there was a lot of mice. I don't know. All right. Number 11. The manager of an apartment complex had 11 packages of light bulbs on hand. He replaced 29 burned out bulbs in hallway lights and 7 bulbs in the party room. 8 bulbs were left. How many bulbs were in each package? Okay. All right, so he had 11 packages, and the thing that we want to know is how many was in each package. So the amount of bulbs that he started out with was 11 times X, where X would be the number in each package. So that's the number of light bulbs. So if there was 2 in each package, that means he had 22 light bulbs, or if there's 3 in each package, he would have 33 light bulbs, right? So, all right, so he started out with 11 times X. All right, that's how many he started out with, and then he replaced 29 bulbs, so he took out 29. And then he did 7, so he took out another 7. And then after all that, he had ended up with 8 at the end. All right, so we have 11x minus 29 minus 7 equals 8. So combine like terms. So negative 29 minus 7 would be negative 36. So 11x minus 36 equals 8. And then add 36 to both sides. So 11x equals 44. So divide both sides by 11. Yeah, x equals 4. So there was 4 light bulbs in each package. All right, number 12 says a cheetah's sprinting speed is 61 miles per hour is 61 miles per hour less than 3 times a zebra's running speed. A cheetah can spring 68 miles per hour. I think this was sprint. I can't edit it, that's okay. Find the zebra's running speed. Okay. All right, so let's see. So the cheetahs, I'm gonna write C for cheetah for a second. So cheetah's speed is, so equals 61 miles an hour less than, okay, so that's gonna be something minus 61. When you see less than, that always is gonna be kind of in like reversing the order. So if it's a 61 less than, you know it's gonna be something minus 61. Okay, so it's 61 miles an hour less than 3 times the zebra. So C equals 3Z minus 61. And then it tells us that the cheetah is 68. So I can just substitute 68 in place of C. So 68 equals 3Z minus 61. And then I can solve that to find the zebra's speed. So I'll just add 61 to both sides. And that would be 129 equals 3Z. And then divide both sides by 3. So 3 would go into 12 4 times, and 3 would go into 9 3 times. So 43 miles per hour is the speed of the zebra. Okay. Okay. Yeah. All right. This page came from a different original document, obviously. So there's no problem number 13 and 14, just those don't exist. Okay, so what we want to do here, we talked about percent last time, right? So we want to translate, so basically we're still translating into an equation, but with percents now. So the same way. All right, so, all right, so whenever it says what, you're gonna put X for that. So X. And then whenever it says is, you're gonna put equals. And then 7.5%. So before we can actually do math with that, we're gonna have to change it to a decimal. So I'm gonna go ahead and change it to a decimal now, which would be 0.075. And then of means times. So times 235.9. All right, so that is the equation, and then we just have to solve it. So basically, we just have to multiply. And it's a little bit of a long multiplication. 235.9 times 0.075. So when you're multiplying decimals, you basically just ignore the decimals until you get done with multiplying. So basically it's like we're just multiplying 2359 times 75 for right now. All right, so 5 times 9 is 45, 4, 29, 2. So when I did the 5, I got 11795, and then I'll do the 7. I got 16513 on that part. And then add. All right, so I ended up with 176925. Okay, and then, so now to determine where to put the decimal point, what you're going to do is just count the number of digits after the decimal point in each of the numbers that you're multiplying. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So that means that my answer has to have 4 numbers after the decimal point. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So then the answer is 17.6925. All right. Number 16 says 13 is what percent of 200? Okay, so I like to just translate this directly into an equation. So 13, and then is means equals. And then it says what percent. So for that, I would just put X. And then of means multiply. So X times 200. So 13 equals X times 200. So that's the equation. And then to solve it, I'm just going to need to divide both sides by 200. Okay, so for 200 going into 13. So obviously 200 can't go into 13. So we're going to start including some zeros here. And 200 still can't go into 130 to do another 0. So 200 into 1300 would go in 6 times. 6 times 200 is 1200. And then 1300 minus 1200 is 100. And then bring down another 0. So 200 would go into 1000 5 times. So 13 divided by 200 equals 0.065. And they wanted to put that in the form of a percent. So that would equal 6.5%. number 17 says 15.2 is 20% of what? So again, I would just translate this directly into an equation. So I write down 15.2. And then where it says is, that translates into equals. And then 20%. So again, I'll go ahead and change that to a decimal, which would be 0.2. Of means times. And then when it says what, we put X there. So 15.2 equals 0.2 times X. So in order to solve that, I divide both sides by 0.2. So whatever, if you're dividing by a decimal, you want to move the decimal point however many times you need to make that a whole number. So we just need to move that decimal point one time to the right, which means we also move this decimal point one time to the right. So it's basically like 152 divided by 2. So 2 goes into 15 7 times. 7 times 2 is 14. 15 minus 14 is 1. Bring down the 2. And then 2 would go into 12 exactly 6 times. And so 76 is equal to X. And then number 18 says, what is 5% of 130? So again, when it says what, that's where I'm going to put my X. So X. And then when it's wherever it says is, that's my equal sign. And then 5%, I'm going to go ahead and change that to a decimal, which would be 0.05. And then of means times. So times 130. So X equals 0.05 times 130 is the equation. So then all we have to do is just multiply 0.5 times 130. 0.05 rather. And I'm just going to start out by writing 130 times 5. So that's 650. And then for the decimal point, I just have 2 numbers after the decimal point. So here I'm going to have 2 numbers after the decimal point. So the answer would be X is equal to 6.5. All right, any questions about any of that? Let me go ahead and give you your tests back.